Thinking over here, John.
She's missing.
Oh, that's my friend. Hi. That's my friend.
Your lovely boy. No, your lovely boy and she don't know what she is. She's not.
Yesterday, so he
he
could
wasn't
have
here.
saw us in
Yeah, he wasn't
action.
here.
How long there is he staying?
Just a couple days.
You,
Yeah.
girl.
So tell Father Miguel, when he brings the camera over here, what is this place?
Hi, Father.
Hey there. how
We've
you
been
doing?
meeting up a lot, ain't it?
Yeah,
Open the van.
You say hi to Father Bruce?
right? Father Miguel
Yeah.
taking pictures for Rome.
Oh.
No.
And the seminary.
Well, it's nice.
Left hand get out. Left hand get.
Good afternoon. You're at Casa Catalina Basic Needs Center in the back of the yards of Chicago, Illinois. We're located in the southwest side of Chicago in an area that years ago was just in back of the Union Stockyards. The Union Stockyards moved out in 1967, and at that time, many of the folks who worked in the stockyards also moved out, which led to an influx of Hispanic Mexican immigrants coming into the neighborhood. Over the years, the number of Hispanics has increased. Back in 1985, there was an amnesty for those who were here undocumented, and many took advantage and became citizens. Many others have come since then and struggle to make a living in their new land. Holy Cross Immaculate Heart of Mary, a parish together since 1981, has almost 100% Hispanic in the parish. In 1990, they had a small parish food pantry. That was the year when 5 other parishes closed in the neighborhood, and Holy Cross IHM said, we will take on a community pantry. So in September of 1990, the Holy Cross IHM pantry became a community pantry, looking at the needs of the neighborhood. At the time, there wasn't much safety in the park, and the young priests at Holy Cross IHM set to work, working with the young people who went to the park. Father Dave and Father Bruce started going and playing basketball at the park. Father Bruce started a marimba group. Things were starting to happen to give the youth of the neighborhood a sense of hope. We also needed to give their struggling parents a hope. Sometimes parents were working 2 jobs and still could not provide for the needs of their children. As word spread that we were now a community pantry, the numbers started to grow, from serving 30 to 40 families a week back in 1990, and working out of a small room in the basement of the parish office, we moved to Casa Romero, which had been the Sacred Heart Rectory. And we had 3 rooms in that building. And as the pantry grew and grew, so did the needs of the neighborhood. So did the response of Holy Cross IHM Parish. There was an after-school program going on in the office building. And in 2000, Father Bruce was taking some youngsters on a camping trip to the mountains. And he took them to the doctor for a physical. He found out they were malnourished. So began the dream of Kids Cafe. And in January of 2001, we opened Kids Cafe at Casa Romero. It was a pilot program, and the Greater Chicago Food Depository was partnering with Holy Cross IHM on this. And they said, Kids Cafe serves the children enrolled in an after-school program. That was good. The kids walked down the street a block from Holy Cross to Casa Romero, had their dinner. But as they walked, they saw their friends. Their friends were hungry too. So before you knew it, those children were knocking at the door or ringing the doorbell. We want to eat too. So we told the depository, we're having an open Kids Cafe. And that's what it is today, still serving 70 to 100 children a hot meal 5 days a week. At Casa Catalina, Casa Romero was at our home for the food pantry, and by 2005, the after-school program had moved into Casa Romero. Kids Cafe was booming, pantry was booming, and we needed more room. So Father Bruce talked to Catholic Charities and Ellen Gorney, and they working together with Art Velasquez, we were able to rent this building, which became Casa Catalina. And Casa Catalina was in need of a lot of repair that summer before we could start here, and the General Electric workers came for a day of service on May 5th, 2005. They did a lot of demolition that day, and then they said, we will promise to stay with this project until you are ready to open, which they did. And since 2005, we've been working and building and growing so that nowadays we serve 300, 350. Our biggest number in one day was 472 families that came through the week after we had a blizzard in Chicago last year. In addition to the food, we have clothing, and we do a lot of referral work for people. To elders, we have a special feeding program called Mothers and Children and Seniors. 95 seniors come once a month to get an extra box of food. And we watch those seniors too. Sometimes they become too weak to be living alone anymore. Right now we're working with a gentleman who's 80 years old and came and said he fell this morning and it took him an hour to get up. So we're working with him, trying to find a safer place for him to live. And we help people who need counseling and other things to find a way to make their lives better. We are the biggest Catholic Charities pantry right now, of 7, and we are 99% volunteer driven. Myself and Sister Mary, who is a part-time worker, are the only paid staff members we have. Everyone else working at Casa Catalina, 30 to 35 people on a Wednesday, is a volunteer. Our volunteers are as young as 8th grade. They come sometime working for confirmation hours. We get groups in from high schools. We have college students who come every Wednesday to help us. We have people who have spent their lifetime working and are retired. And now they don't want to just sit at home like a couch potato. So we have retired teachers, retired businessmen who come in and help. We also have students from Ibero-Americana University in Mexico City who spend a semester helping us. And working all together, they form the Casa Catalina family. We were really happy at Easter time this year. One of our longtime volunteers, Kelly, was received into the church. And we had about 20 of the Casa Catalina volunteers were there with her to witness her being baptized, receive her first Eucharist, and be confirmed. And that is one thing that's special about Casa Catalina. We have a family spirit. It's like when you're here, you become part of our family. And when someone from the family needs help, you go out to help that someone. And what I always tell the volunteers is, we say prayer before we open our doors to serve people, is to remember Jesus might be in the line coming through. And you want to treat Jesus well when he comes through our line and comes for service.